Hello, Random Crafty Axe here. This barb. I'm kind of trying to make sure I've got everything in frame. We're getting ready to pull together several of the things that we've done in the last couple of videos and make one card front that uses stamps and die cutting, and I will probably attempt to do just a little bit of coloring. So we'll see how this comes out. But this is kind of taking it from basic simple cards to something a little more complex, something you can be a little more creative with, even though I think the other is plenty creative. But let's just jump right in. Okay, I'm using some stuff from Tailored Expressions. Okay, I'm going to leave that kind of as a surprise. I'm going to set this over here out of the way and start with, I think we'll start with the stamping. Yep, we're going to do all the things. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is work on the panel that I'm going to cut some things out of, okay? So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to tape this to make sure it doesn't move. Okay, all right, so I want this flower. And it doesn't matter, believe it or not, where I put it on here, okay? And I don't know yet whether I want this to say just a note. So I'm gonna put that here, or thinking of you. We just made a thinking of you, but it doesn't really matter. We're gonna lay that here. And I think that's probably enough there. How about instead of thinking of you, why don't we do this, have a sweet birthday. Have a sweet birthday. Okay, all right, and now we're gonna close this. All right, and now we have our stamps over on this platform. And again, they're kind of crooked and it doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna do the flower. I'm going to outline it in black because we're going to color the flower in. Now, coloring is something that people who stamp do, okay? And I guess I had coloring in kindergarten, and I haven't ever been very good at it because I'm not good at matching colors. Okay, so I probably should get I've got a tool that kind of helps with this. I think that one needs a little more black on it. And that flower is which one? That's this flower. Okay, and this is jet black. I'm using Archival ink, Ranger Archival ink. Okay, I'm going to stand up to press down on this. I could take the spongy thing out, but I'm not used to doing that. Okay, I think that's good. All right, we're going to just pull these off and set them over here out of the way. Take this off. The only thing you have to be careful of if you're using, this is a painter's tape, I think. It's a low-tack, still a low-tack tape. Not as much as, okay, now the magic. All right. A lot of these stamps come with dies that you can use now to cut this out without having to fussy cut. So the idea is, do you want to color and then cut, or do you want to cut and then color? I like to cut and then color. Okay, It's just a matter of getting them lined up. And I'm going to be real honest, I'm not real good at this. Okay. I wonder where the rest of those are. Because I'm missing this. I have this die. This is the one I really like. I like the print on this Just a Note, but I've had a really hard time getting that to line up to cut the way I want it to cut. So that it holds. Okay, and I'm going to have to hunt, so I'm going to pause the video. Okay, found it. I keep them on this. Just had them set out of the way. Okay, and then I'll line this up. And again, if you're good at fussy cutting, if you're good at with scissors and cutting around, you could do this and you don't have to die cut it. Trying to use my tape. Looks like that really could have been inked one more time. Okay, I'm going to lay that on there. I'm going to put this out of the way. I'm going to lay this on top. I'm going to drag my thing over and make sure it's reasonably in frame. Yep. Okay, then we're going to run this through. And this is the reason we're only making one instead of two, because of the amount of time this takes. Okay, zip that back out of the way. And then pull this off very carefully. Okay, wow, look at how nice that is. That's going to be a nice sentiment piece. Not real crazy about the way that came out. Don't know if we'll use that or not. See how it cut down there? That's me. And getting it lined up. Just pull this off of here. Carefully pull that off of there. It picked up some of the ink off of there, but that's okay because we're getting ready to color it in. Okay. All right. Okay. I am going to put these, I'm going to ink this. Okay. I'm going to put the flowers here. And I think we're going to go with Just a Note. Okay, so knowing that, I want a lot of blue up in here and the green down in here. And since I know I'm going to do that, I want to make sure, I think I want my flowers to be red. Just a guessing. Okay, I learned what I know about stamping and all of that from watching other people on YouTube and watching some friends in person because they're really good at this. I'm probably not going to make you watch me color all of these flowers. You can stamp without die cutting. You can die cut without stamping. There are lots of different ways you can color. You could use watercolors. You could use paintbrush stuff. Everything that you do like that requires buying something. There are very reasonably priced watercolor sets not real happy with the way this is coming out. I think this might have been watercolor paper. Probably gonna pause the video here and see if I can find something. These are just ink pens. And I'm not really liking the way that looks. I mean, I think it's okay. And I don't have pink. Yeah, what I would like is pink to put the lighter edge around that. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video and change inking mediums. Well, I'm really glad for the wonders of technology so that you have no idea how long it took me to do that. Okay, so I've got 3 flowers, so I'm gonna do them in 3 different ways. All right, these are blending pencils. Okay, and this is what I was hoping to be able to do, to put like the dark around here. Okay. And then just a slightly different color blend here, and then I'll show you what you can do when you're working with something like this. There are a couple of companies that make these. If you have access to Stampin' Up, that's one of your options. Tombow makes the blending part, and then this is, I have to be honest, I have no idea what kind of fluid is in here, but what you'll notice, and I'll hold it up closer to the camera so you can see, but see how it kind of liquefies what I just put down. Okay, and so those are not necessarily good flower colors, but they're the best I can do. All right, let's see what my greens are. These are Olo markers. And they're kind of a alcohol ink, and they've got a really light brush tip on them. Coloring is, I have been told, is something that you just have to practice, which everything about card making is. You start out with a simple card, and then you work your way into other things, and you follow other people's designs. Okay, this is supposed to be green, and I've already got red on it, so I'm trying to put that over there, and that doesn't work. Okay, so I use my Olo marker. This is a lighter green, and if you kind of add... Nope, that doesn't work. You're supposed to put the light color down first. Okay, and then what have I got here? This is a rose pink. Let's use these. And these are Brushmaker Pros, and I don't even know who makes these. But oh, look, these are kind of like very watercolory. One of the other things that becomes an issue when you start doing this is some of the things, the inks that you can use to stamp with, can be what they would refer to as water reactive. Archival inks are not water reactive. Oxides, I believe, the distress oxides are. Okay, that's kind of cute. Okay, that took me forever to do. All right, let's set these aside. I don't think we're going to use that. We're not going to throw it out. We're just not going to use it. All right, where are my brushes? Did I put those away? Yes, I did. I can reach right over here and grab the green and the blue. Okay, leafy green along the bottom. Now this is the piece that's going to go on top of the red. Okay, remember we start from the outside and I do random circles. Okay, and then I'm trying to darken this around the edge because I like the way that looks. All right. This makes this kind of a bright card. I like that. Okay. Okay. Again, these are archival inks, and I'm using them because they don't interact with water or moisture, so that if I've got like inks or glues or anything that I'm working with, that they won't bleed through. Okay. All right, now I'm going to build this first. And oh, notice how the one thing I used soaked through. All right, that were the Olo markers, and they're alcohol markers. And most of the time, well, I don't know. I can't say most of the time. That's just something to be aware of. If you like use them on the card base without putting a mat, if you didn't use it on a mat, then they would soak through the regular card. Okay, let's get that leveled. All right, so we want our flowers to go here. Okay, we want this, just a note stuck to the glass, to go here. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. Okay. All right, and then we want this to go on here. Wow, that's pretty. Make sure this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. That would be a real bummer to get that on there. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, so as we run into the end of the line here, on this card, we used cutting mats for an A2 card. We used die cuts. We used stamping. We used coloring. Okay. All of the things that we've learned how to do so far. Again, very simple card front. One of the directions I will probably go next is starting to work with things that are a little more like mass making. I know that's one of my ideas. Look at how this kind of stands up. Isn't that neat? That's really amazing. And if I was a better colorer, I'm sure that would look better. That one little reddish edge right there. There we go. Okay. All right. And we're going to stamp this on the back. So the person who ends up with this card from their deployed service person. Okay. Will know that they were cared for. The card was made with love. All right. Very nice. Just one card since we did so many things. Okay, Random Crafty Axe. If you have not subscribed already, I would really appreciate it if you would do that. If you just click on the title and click subscribe, click the thumbs up. It helps me, helps get this stuff out there so people will see it. Also, if you want to see what the rest of the Card Making Basics series has been, click on the title to the channel, Random Crafty Axe. And then when you get to the main page, it'll show you playlists, and just click on the playlist that says Card Making Basics. That's it. Glad you've spent this time with me. I hope that it was helpful. And check back to see what we're doing next.